Chapter 7, Merchandising Company, Accounting for Cash Disbursements. Before you proceed, check your trial balance as of December 31 of last year to determine if the individual accounts match the end of Chapter 6. So to do that, you want to go to Reports, Accountant and Taxes, and get your trial balance as of December 31. Once the individual accounts match, then you are ready to proceed to this Chapter 7. Reading and understanding the accounting concept behind as outlined in this chapter will better assist you in recording the transactions. The special journal Cash Disbursements Journal is also called Cash Payments Journal. This is used by businesses to pay the vendors for anything that was purchased in the past. Remember, we had noted the businesses who had developed good relationships with the vendors who had delivered the orders must be paid promptly to continue the harmony of trading. Now, the terms of purchase given by the vendors are incentives, so businesses can take advantage of the discounts if payment is made within the discount period. Working on problem 7-2, you will note that there are several ways of recording cash payments. So one of them would be Roman number 1, where you are to write checks. So on banking, write checks. We are to pay rent for the month of December on December 1st, and we are to pay it to RPM Properties. So now, since RPM Properties is not on the vendor's list, you can create that with an add new and say it's vendor, say OK, and just type in RPM Properties and say OK. Now this vendor is already there, and you will now look for the GL account, and this is to pay rent, so that would be your rent expense, and the dollar amount is for $3,000. Now rent is being paid whether there is an invoice or not, and typically there is no invoice, so it's an automatic payment that you have to do the first of the month. Now, since you have issued this check number 200, you can either print later the check, or you can assign the check now and print it, or assign checks and print all of the checks that you've written at one time at the end. So we're assigning check 200 for this particular vendor. Then Roman number 2 is writing checks where you are making payments to accounts where you owe, but you're only making partial payments. So on vendors, pay bills. You will note that the vendors that you owe has all these invoices, and the easiest way would be to identify them by the name and the reference number. We are wanting to pay Office Depot only a partial payment of $2,500. So you write under the amount to pay $2,500 and make sure it's coming out of that account. Assign the check 201 and say OK, and then pay this vendor and pay more bills. So you can continue paying the December 2nd and December 3rd transactions. Now you are to pay vendors where you want to apply discounts and credits. So go back to the same way, vendors, pay bills, and now it's easier to reference it by the reference number. So for the first transaction, we are paying on December 6th, reference number 3, we are paying California Medical Supplies. So look for reference 3 and click your credits, because there are credits of $1,000 and the discount. Now I'd like you to pay attention to the credit. You have to apply the reference number 3 minus credit. That means that's applied to that invoice, and then you wanted to be sure that your discount is correct. The book gives you the 2% of $1,500 discount is $30, and the amount, the GL account to use for your discounts and returns will be the inventory account. Remember, perpetual method uses inventory. Be sure your check figure is 1470, and now you're ready to apply check number 204 and click OK. Then you can pay more bills. Continue paying all the bills as listed in your chapter until December 31. Once you have paid all the bills until December 31 in all the different methods of paying them, you will want to verify your vendor balance detail and get your individual account balances. Be sure it match the bottom line figure in the individual accounts. Then you also wanted to verify your trial balance. Your trial balance as of December 31 will have to show, and again, the individual account balances must match. That will be making you comfortable to move on to the next chapter.